Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Continuing on the 1956 rebuild. I got a lot done. Let's take a look at where we're at. I got the Sump plate studs in. All the plugs are in. All the hardware is torqued down to what it needs to be. I got all my hardened hardware on there. And now I started working on the oil pump. The slot right here was covering this part of the pump right here. I centered it 5 times. I looked in there with the light. I put studs through it, and I was like, yep, this thing is getting blocked by the pump. All right, so I got the holes centered on this. And let's see if I can get you guys to see what I'm talking about. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I'll do my best to edit this. Yeah, that was the picture. That's the best I could do. I finally figured out if I shine the light through here, you can see. So that was like that. That pump was straight right there. And I took all that off. I radius that off, and now we should have better flow. Next up, remember I cleaned this one the other day? Well, I found another one, and I'm not going to use it because I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's rounded on the top. Literally like at an angle, hanging over. And the whole nut does not sit flat on there. So I'm going to use this one. This is the one we cleaned up the other day. We'll put the nice flat end toward the engine. And then, of course, this is a brand new gasket. And look, it's got a crack in it. The other side's fine. We'll put a bunch of Yama Bond on here and put this puppy on here. This gasket did not fit before. Well, anyway, the holes were too small, so I had to take a drill. I put the gasket up against the plate and slowly drilled through with a drill bit. Now it slides on here pretty good. This is how you put on something that's tight on the studs like this. The gasket's real tight, so I'm gonna push it all on at once. I'm gonna take this off and make sure that I cover that, just that area. Okay, I'm happy with that. A little bit of extra insurance. Let's pop this puppy on here. Done. On to the pump. In the CB Performance Kit, this skinnier one, this one goes on first. Very thin film of Yama Bond on here. Nice and sticky. I got that gasket covered on both sides with a real thin film. I got all 3 of these studs. This stud, and this stud loose, just so this goes in easy. I didn't want to have to force it with the gasket on there, so hopefully that's lined up. Looks like we're pretty damn close. Do a little check. It's always the last one, right? Nope, it's not lined up perfectly. There we go. That should be better. Okay, we're good. We're lined up. This is the tricky part. You do not want to get sealant in this groove. That's your oil return. So you want to keep it on the outside. You're probably going to get a little bit in there when you put this on, but you got to wipe it off. Again, very thin. Just barely touching it. just for S and G. I'm gonna spin this a couple times just so I know it's coated. Some people say use grease, some people say use oil. Whatever. As long as it works, right? Now for this gasket, again, very, very thin amount of this stuff. Do not want this stuff spreading into that groove. I guess how this works, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but the suction from the pump, if anything starts to leak out, it'll pull it back in through this little crack right here. So if it starts to leak anywhere in that circle, that'll pull it back in. I am basically just getting this sticky. I'm not putting a ton on there. So that when I compress this, it doesn't squeeze out into said crevice. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. We're going to stick it right on here. Now that she's nice and tacky. Look at that. There's another spot where it covers that hole. And I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to cut that off of there a little bit. There we go. Butter. Satisfaction. Let's get you back on the engine. Okay, these holes do not go through the case, so they don't need any kind of sealant. But I think what I might do is put just a touch of aircraft stuff on here. I'm going to put those two in real quick just to hold this up. But this stuff is the witch's brew. It looks like it needs to be mixed up a little bit. Shaking. But this stuff is so drippy. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just so thin. All I'm going to do is I'm going to coat these threads a little bit so that this thing hopefully doesn't back out. Here's another thing I'm going to ask you guys. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I think the wavy washer, the rounded part, goes toward what you're tightening. Like so. I don't know if it matters. Comment. Let me know. Because I'm not sure. You know what? I'm wondering if I should loosen this. I'm going to loosen these. I'm thinking if I'm going to tighten these, it's going to squeeze the case together, and if these are tightened, it's not going to allow it to do that. So I'm going to loosen these real quick so it can shift if it needs to. There we go. Now I can tighten this. All right, that's that. There you go. The pump, the cover, and the little dipstick for the hole for the universal case is covered. All sealed up. I'll get set up for the next thing. Stand by. Next, I'm probably going to end up using this on the head studs. These are also sealed. They don't go all the way through. But I don't want them to back out, so I'm probably going to end up using a little dab of this and then jamming those puppies in there. Okay, we're back. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to put these oil relief plugs in. Here's what I got going on. I have a brand new CB Performance kit with the springs and the plungers and the crush washers and actually the nuts, I guess you call them, bolts. But what I have here is a oil temp sensor. My car is wired for this, and this is what I'm going to put on the front of the motor for the oil relief. So this will give me oil temp. VDO sensor for my VDO gauges. Okay, let's install this. First thing we need, oil. We need oil. Put some oil in both holes. Then we're going to oil up our plungers. Drop one in the flywheel side. Put one on this end. Yeah, by the way, they go in like this with the hole up. So next, the big spring goes in the front. Man, look at the way they ground the bottom of that. I noticed that when I was cleaning it. It literally looks like they just put it on a grinding stone and flattened it out, but it's all clean. I cleaned all this stuff with brake cleaner, and a little bit of stuff did come off of it. So even though it's little parts like this, clean it. So big spring in the front, that's going to be the fun one to load. Small spring in the back. So I looked it up just to make sure. This stuff is good for oil, gas, diesel, everything. So you can use the yellow tape, or you can use this. It don't matter. It's the same deal. Put a crush washer on here. Give that a good crank. That one's done. That's the easy one. Now, you can watch me struggle with this one. Place your butts. See how many times this takes me to get that in there. So this is a 22. I have a 22 short and a 22 long. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this threaded. I might be able to by hand. Yeah, I should be able to. Got our crush washer on there. Now for this sensor, I don't know if this is a good or a bad idea, but it's pretty easy to get to. So if this screws up the reading, then I can always take it out. I just put a little on there, so let's see how this goes. Place your butts. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, sweet. 2 tries. That's brass, so I'm not going to over torque it. And that just happens to be pointing the perfect way for me. That's great. So that one's smooth. Didn't make a mess. There's not sealant everywhere. Everything's on. Good to go. Did I mention I don't like aviation sealant? It's messy. And it dries crusty. And it gets everywhere. And I don't know what the deal is with this. Ooh, bumping the camera. But you can see normal threads, same length. And then dude cut them kind of uneven. Don't know if that's necessary or not, or if it's going to come back to haunt me. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we slide a head on here. So when putting these case head studs in here, I measured them. I think it's 19 mil of the threads go in, and I marked them all. And when I marked them, I screwed them all the way in until they basically stop. Not torquing them, just till it stops. And the little mark I put on there was just a little bit down past the case, so I'm just gonna assume, I hope that doesn't come back to haunt me. I'm just gonna assume that that's good. I hope I have enough threads sticking up to do my thing, but these are all hand tightened. And then liquid poop on the threads. I mean, aviation sealant. You heard that, right? Stop tooting. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a little bit before I flip it over so it doesn't drip and run out all over the case, because liquid poo is really runny. I think putting the aviation sealant, aka liquid poo, on a paper towel kind of soaks up some of the water out of it and makes it just a little thicker, which is good, in my opinion. Get this crap off of here first before you put your shims on, because once it's hard, it's gonna be a bear getting it off, especially like by this stud right here. Keeping it clean. Take one of these rags with a little spray, little brake cleaner on it, and get the rest of the staining off. I know you're not going to see none of this, but when you've put as much work into this stupid thing as I have, you take a little bit of pride in it at least. Time to start putting some of these fittings in. I did modify this plug and drilled all the way through and got the lip out of it so it's smooth all the way through. Wow, that's going in deep. Man, that went in way deeper than I thought it was going to. I don't know if I like that. I don't know what's going on, because when I dry fitted this before, it was a lot tighter. Temperature difference maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I don't like that. I put the tape on this one, wrapped it like 5 times because this hole was threaded pretty deep. So let's see if I can get this in here with a bunch of the petroleum safe tape on it. That does not look like it's working. Yeah, I need to reduce the amount of tape on there. I'm thinking maybe one more. If not, I'm gonna have to take this off and retape it. Yeah, I should get one more out of it. Come on. Uh-oh. Nope. Damn it. Oh, man, that's close. Man, I don't want to break that. I think I'm going to stop right there and see if that works. If I have to, I can pull it out later. So I got one of these. This is what I was hoping to use. But I'm not going to be able to tighten it because the block's going to be in the way. Nope, I'm not tightening that anymore. I'm retaping it. Tell you one thing, this tape is definitely thicker than the Teflon stuff. You don't need as much of it. That's what I'm learning. Attempt number 3. I gotta figure out my thickness of my tape and my sealant here to get this just right. Do one of those. There's way too many fittings on here. I think I might change this up. It might be just a little bit overkill. I can always change it up, but right now I'm kind of not liking the look of that. I got these. A couple of these I can go down and out and in. And I was trying to think ahead, but this might look silly. And I didn't know if I was going to go an external cooler, and then I did a ton of reading and find out it's probably not necessary for this thing. I can go down, I can go straight, but I just don't like how large these fittings are. Not going to make any command decisions until everything goes together, and if it stands out, looks stupid, and it's too big, then I'll change it. If it works and you can't really see it and it's not a big deal, so be it. Moving on. So I'm trying to decide what I should do next, and I kind of have a dilemma here. My plan was to put this magnetic plug in here, and I was assuming there was a hole there. Well, guess what? I was wrong. I see this here. Maybe I can tap that and put that in there. I don't know what to do, or if I should just skip this altogether. I don't know about this, and then I'm going to have to clean the whole thing again if I do that. I would like something in there, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to sit and ponder on it. Yeah, I cleaned my liquid poo bottle off with a little brake cleaner. It looks nice and clean. And while I had the marker out, I named my welder. It was only logical. So I decided against the magnetic oil plug. I don't want to ruin this thing. It's going to be really difficult to get that plug in the middle there. And it won't sit flat because of the writing. I'd have to flatten it all out. That's a lot of work I really don't want to do. I'm not taking the easy way out. I just think it makes sense. And then on the side here, I would like to put it in there, but this thing's really thick. And I don't know how much good it's going to do with the plug all the way over here. A magnetic plug anyway. I mean, for draining oil, this would be great. I don't know. I decided against it. I'm going to move on. So here's a tip. So you think your threads are clean, right? Nope. They are not clean. So I went through, I don't know, like 20, 25 of these. Spinning them in there. Making sure I didn't leave no cotton behind. And kept going until I got this clean. So now my sealant will stick on there and I should be good. Just going to prove to you that you need to wash everything. See how dark that is? And that's not even clean yet. But here's all the crap that comes off of it. That Cosmoline or whatever they put on there. It's everywhere. This might have a burr on it. Anyway. You can see little flakes of metal in there from them cutting this. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, see the little flakes of metal? That came off of this. This is a brand new stud kit. Wash everything. Well, I got all these in. And this one is a little bit too tall. So I did the double nut trick, and I had a question before, what is the double nut trick? So here's the whole double nut trick. Get the second one on there, tighten them up, and tighten your top one. That should definitely do it. Loosen the top one, and then if you're lucky, this one will come right off without pulling the nut or the bolt out. Boom. Okay, so that is done. I need to clean this up with a little brake clean, and then next part is slapping them puppies on there. I'm going to use this gasket and put this on. And I think I'm going to use these. I don't know. Put a thin film of this stuff on here. We got our gasket on there. It's nice and tacky, very thin filmy on the bottom. We got a little bit on the bottom here. Now, I don't know if these things are directional or not, but this is the way I'm putting it on. I don't think they are, but okay. Push that down a little bit. Make sure there's nothing squeezing through. That was it. We're good. The bottom nuts in here, and they're tight. I'm really tired, so don't mind me. I'm kind of dragging ass right now. So all I did was use my pinky, get these tight until it stopped. Whatever. And then I gave it a little bump. So that's tight. Now it's time for Big Poppy. Again, very, very thin film. All the surfaces are sanded flat. All the burrs from the threads are taken off. All the studs have been put in with blue Loctite. Voila. We're getting there. We're adding parts onto this engine. Can you believe it? Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to curse myself. I'm going to put a little thin film of this on here too. Right now, I put the sealant on here just a little bit. I put a little bit on the case there too. All right. So I got my, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I already got my copper washers on here. And these, just like any other washer, have a flat side and a round side. Flat side down. So I've put the calipers in here, and I forget what it was. I think it was like 6 mil, 6 point something mil. 601, 62, around there. So I measured and I made sure that these were sticking up enough. I forgot about these copper washers, so I had to back them off another turn. That was fun, because there's a couple of them in there where you got to double nut them, so I was really happy about that. But anyway, you get the picture. I'm going to torque these down to whatever inch pounds or whatever they are. I'll look it up real quick. I know it's something silly. But acorn nuts. That's what I was trying to think of before. Acorn nuts. Alright, so that's it for tonight. I'm getting tired. I'm making mistakes. I'm dropping stuff. So I am done. And until next time. Oh, one last shot. Rim. I missed.